Get this, lads. I was walking down the street the other day and I met a lady that I know, and she says to me, "Jill, I'm not getting fat. I'm a wife, a sister, an auntie, I have 4 kids, I'm a working class woman. I've got all the weight of that responsibility on my shoulders." And I chuckled and I was like, if you're looking for a shoulder to cry on, pull over there the side of the road. And she starts roaring laughing, which is good, because if she didn't laugh, she might cry. There's people out there who have a potato on their shoulder because the chip isn't enough. So, ironically enough, today I'm going to talk a little bit about shoulders. And yes, I'm officially going to do YouTube clips and talk about physio-related different things, and try and keep it as informative and simplistic as possible. I just want to introduce myself first because I've never done any videos or anything like this before. So my name is Jill and I'm living on the borders of Scotland and England, and I'm running a physiotherapy clinic up here, and I'm also working part-time for the NHS, which is great banter. So a little bit about me is that I love sports, anything got to do with health and nutrition, fitness. I love the outdoors. You'll probably catch me outside most of the time. Really keen for learning more about anything fitness, nutrition, physio related. So I do not know everything at all. I'm very keen to learn, and I do learn from people like you, patients, clients, friends, whatever. So yeah, interacting with people is one of the last things I've got to mention, is one of the things I'm really interested in. So by doing these videos, I thought that it was going to be a really good idea, because it gives people a chance to get to know me on a bit of a deeper level, rather than looking at pictures or looking at posts that I might be posting on a weekly basis. You're still not really getting to know me as a person, and it's quite common this day and age that people worry a little bit and get a little bit anxious about going to see the doctor or the dentist or the physio, or just basically leaving the house, because we can tend to get a bit anxious, and you just simply don't know who you're going to be meeting. So it's quite nice to get a bit of a feel of somebody you might potentially be encountering or going to see for advice or whatever. So yes, that was just a little bit of an intro about myself. Ironically enough, I want to talk about shoulders in this clip. Everything I said there at the start, I just made that up myself, so forget about that. Shoulders, is it my favourite topic? It's all right. I don't mind shoulders at all. I'm still learning. I learned so much from my clients, my peers, and will just be forever learning about different presentations. So I'm just going to go over a little bit about the anatomy of the shoulder. Shoulder is complex and simple at the same time. So we've got loads of joints, ligaments, muscles, tendons going on here. Okay, and a lot of people present with shoulder pain. Nearly 70% of people I see in work actually present with shoulder pain, and 90% of the time it's rotator-cuff related. So you have the strong deltoid muscle here. So think of a basketball player with really big shoulders. They've got really good definition and muscle bulk of the deltoid. Underneath the deltoid, you've got the rotator-cuff complex. So they're little muscles which hold the head of the humerus nice and tight into the cuff. So they're stabilizers basically. And they all have little tendons. And these tendons can tend to be quite problematic because of the way the shoulder is designed. and because as humans, we like to move a lot, the shoulder is a ball and socket type joint. We've got loads of mobility, but we do sacrifice stability. So the more range of movement that you have in a joint, the much less stable it's going to be. Makes sense, right? Because the more flexible you are, you can still be stable as long as you've got good strength. But when a joint has got a load range of motion, like the shoulder in particular, you can get a lot of problems in it. Shoulder pain can be caused from muscular pain, ligament pain, joint pain like arthritis. We can get referred pains in the shoulder, or like neural symptoms, or something more nasty like a Pankos tumor. And sometimes people just don't know what's going on, because you can get shoulder pain without having injury or trauma, and it's very common. So today I just want to talk a little bit, touch on rotator-cuff tendinopathies. So the rotator cuff is the little complex of muscles under the deltoid, and tendinopathies can be quite common because of how the shoulder is designed and with the movements that we have. So you might have heard of people talking about impingement syndrome, which is very common in young guys who go to the gym and lift heavy weights, especially weights overhead. It's usually overuse. So you got the little tendons and they get a little bit irritated because of there's either not that much space, or else it's just constant rubbing over time. And they're baffled because they're young, fit and healthy, and there was no particular incident where they felt like a snap or they had damaged the shoulder. So they come into clinic and present with this, and they're quite baffled, and you'd say, what do you perceive the problem to be? And they say, I'm not sure really, I've just got pain around this area, intermittent sort of pain around the upper arm, it never passes the elbow, dull aching, it's not much of a pattern to the pain, and they don't know what's going on. And they do tend to require a bit of reassurance and a bit of guidance on how to treat this presentation. So not only does it happen in young people, of course, it happens in older people as well, for different reasons though. Age-related changes, which is very normal. So over time, tendons do degenerate and get a little bit weaker, and as we get older we tend to move less. You get a little bit more muscle wastage because you're not as active, you may not be eating as much, and we tend to decondition a little bit as you get sort of into your 50s, 60s, 70s when you're slowing down. So there's always different reasons why your tissues will become painful. And that's why conditioning is so important. And when I say conditioning, I mean keeping fit, active and strong. So people often come in and say to me, Jill, you can't say that, you need to move more, you need to move more. I'm running around the house doing house chores all the time. I'm constantly on the go. I've got 5 kids. I'm always on the go. And you say, yes, Mary, that's fine. That's really good. But running around and doing kind of cardio-based sort of exercise certainly doesn't strengthen any particular joints. And when you have a specific joint which is getting a bit painful, you need specific exercises and a specific type of exercise to address that, reduce the pain levels to enable you to do your normal activities of daily living. So the shoulder joint obviously is a part of your upper limb, and for upper limb it's really important for us for feeding, washing, cleaning. You wouldn't believe how vital and important your upper limb is until you injure it, or even when you get a paper cut or sore thumb, you'll find that you're hitting it off everything. So we use our hands so much throughout the day, and our arms functionally for so many things. So you really want to look after yourself and make sure that you're not leaving yourself subjected or at risk of any sort of preventable injuries or changes like the tendinopathy. How we usually treat these is basically strengthening program. Tendons will improve and they respond really well to isometric strengthening. Why don't they respond well to rest? It's because resting doesn't do much for them. You need to increase the tensile strength of the tendon in order for the pain levels to drop, and to build up a bit of strength to be able to endure whatever activities you were doing throughout the day. Isometric strengthening is basically tendon friendly. So what I mean by tendon friendly is that isometric, the muscle stays the same length, so there's less tension on the tendon. So tendon joins muscle to bone, if you don't already know, and obviously they're quite important. If you're in the gym, so if you visualize me doing a bicep curl here, so I'm bending my elbow and straightening it, I get a muscle shortening and then muscles lengthening. When the muscle shortens and goes to lengthen, you have that little bit of pressure and tension on the tendon. When we do an isometric strengthening program, you don't have that added tension on the tendon, which is good because we don't want to make it more irritable. So yes, isometrics. You can do all of this kind of strengthening at home. I mean, physio will give you TheraBands and things, but there is so many modifications or alterations. You don't even need to go to a gym or anything. If you think that you have shoulder pain and you don't know why you have it, it just came on gradually, you haven't a history of any neck pain, or previous shoulder injuries, it's always good to speak to a professional just to get that little bit of reassurance and that little bit of a go ahead, yeah, you're totally cool to move, keep active doing what you're doing, and that bit of reassurance, advice and education allows you to self-manage and take ownership of the condition, so you're not wasting your time or wasting your money coming to physiotherapy, and in the long run, you feel a bit more educated. If it reoccurs, you know what to do. So it's quite nice to keep yourself conditioned and strong. You'll often hear about personal trainers saying, you can't go wrong getting strong. It's very true. You definitely don't want to be a weak individual or somebody who's, let's just say, office-based workers who are sitting quite a lot throughout the day. I can't emphasize enough to try and get up off your seat every half an hour, whether it's just to go to the toilet, or stretch your legs. That little bit of movement breaks up that sedentary bout, and it actually does help prevent cardiovascular diseases and things like that. So research has proven. So if you're an office-based worker, it is very difficult for you. Understand, you can't be jumping around all the time. You need to sit down and do your paperwork for a certain amount of hours every single day. It's definitely achievable to get up every half an hour and move around. If you put a timer or reminder on your computer, or else if you have a Apple Watch, it'll remind you to get up and move. So yeah, conditioning overall is really important, and I'm always encouraging people to get a little bit more active throughout the day. There's so many aches and pains and common musculoskeletal presentations which can be avoided by keeping active and fit. So I'm not really going to harp on much more about tendinopathies. If you want to know a little bit more, or you have any concerns about your own shoulder pain, you don't know what's going on, or you want a little bit of reassurance, you can just ping me a message or contact me via email or on my website. Absolutely fine. It's good to stay tuned, because I want to discuss other topics, not just different joints, but things related to physical activity, nutrition, exercise physiology, basically things like lifestyle changes, how to improve quality of life. I like talking about and learning about different things which can contribute to living a better lifestyle, and to be in better health, a full stop. So hopefully people can gain from this. I think it's good in a way that you get to kind of see what I'm like as an individual rather than, just pictures, and you just can't tell what somebody is going to be like, and it's human nature to visualize someone and to say, oh, I bet you she's so and so is kind of like that or whatever. And it's nice to feel like you know somebody on another level, even though you've only listened to them on social media or whatever, which social media is fantastic for. So pros and cons to everything. Um, so yeah, every now and then I want to do just some little short clips, and hopefully that was a little bit of a help to you. Um, Please feel free to leave any comments or get on to me if there's anything that you want to ask. Um, I think I'll just leave it at that for today. So have a lovely Saturday and just stay tuned. Thank you.